Hello, everyone. We'd like to welcome you today. I'm going to share my screen here with my slide presentation, slideshow from current slide. There we are. All right. What are we going to talk about today? Yes, most of us never give our feet a second thought until they hurt, right? Every step you take depends on one of the most incredible engineering marvels in the human body. Our feet are asked to support our entire body weight, absorb shock, keep us balanced, and move us through life thousands of times every single day. They're remarkable, they're flexible, and yet they're unbelievably strong. Each foot contains 26 bones, 33 joints, and that's really what makes it so flexible. Each bone can move next to the other one, adjusting to various demands or ground surfaces. But these bones do not just lay flat, like a flat board. Instead, they're built with a beautiful arch. Now, let's take a look at that arch. Think of an arched bridge. The arch isn't weak, but actually it becomes stronger because of its shape. Your foot works the same way. You have 4 arches. You have 2 arches on the outside that go alongside your foot, and you've got 2 arches that go the width of your foot. Every time your foot hits the ground, those arches compress like a spring. They absorb the impact. And when they release that stored energy, that helps to propel you into your next step. So every step is a little miracle of engineering. Now, what holds and activates these arches? Well, yes, you know, it's these muscles. Over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments all working together, giving your foot amazing strength. And none of this would be able to work without the over 7,000 nerve endings, constantly sending information to your brain about balance, pressure, temperature, movement. In a sense, it's like a high-speed communication network between the bottom of your toes all the way up to your brain. Thousands of tiny messages traveling back and forth every second, so your body knows exactly how to keep you upright and keep you moving. And so as your foot comes down and comes in contact with the ground, the brain knows exactly where it is. And it sends signals to the muscles to adjust to an uneven surface in order to keep you upright. You continue walking without even any conscious thought of all the activity that happened right down here in that little foot. So it's so essential to keep the electrical signals moving free throughout from your foot all the way up to your brain. Now, there's another challenge that may occur, and that's with your circulation. You see, your feet are the furthest away from your heart. All you need to do is just take a look at your own feet. See how far away they are? I mean, you gotta bend over in order to reach them. You know, once the blood is pumped down there, it's pretty easy to pump life-sustaining nutrients down to your feet. But one thing is getting those wastes and toxins back up against gravity. See, now that's another thing. And even though you've got that whole gravity thing that we're dealing with, let's take a look at this. We know that about 90% of your circulation happens in the microcirculation, tiny little vessels that deliver the oxygen nutrients to your cells. And those little vessels are dependent on microscopic muscles that surround them to be like little pumps in order to operate them and to get blood flowing through them. A person could have a great pulse at the ankle and yet have bad circulation in their feet. And that's really one of the problems that we see happening. As we age, circulation can become less efficient. These little sub pumps, they can slow down, and many of them can go offline. And it's often your feet that let you know first that you've got a problem with your circulation. Perhaps you have cold feet, or you have stiffness in your feet, slower healing, tired, achy feet. You see, all of these symptoms can be a reminder that the healthy circulation matters all the way down to to your toes. Here we've got a picture just demonstrating the fact that if you've got good microcirculation, throughout every nook and cranny, your foot stays healthy, right? But when you start slowing down some of those sub pumps, poor circulation, then you have less blood supply. And this especially happens with people who have a disease with their sugar in their bloodstream. Sugar is definitely a poison. And what it does is it attacks those little sub pumps and takes them offline. And so now we have a problem with that. And then here, the last picture showing as that problem persists, now you have ulcers that are not able to heal. So the important thing is, right, keep the sugar out of your diet and keep the little pumps working the way that they're supposed to. So how can we keep our feet healthy? Well, there's a few things that we can do. Make sure you walk regularly. They suggest that we walk, 7,000 steps a day. And so get up and walk. Park your car furthest away in the parking lot and walk into the store rather than driving around in circles trying to find that closest spot. Make sure that when you do walk, that the shoes that you have allow your feet to move naturally, that they've got some good support to them. This bottom picture here shows a really cool thing. It's a little ball that you can put underneath your foot and just kind of roll it back and forth. You can imagine all of those bones, right? Being able to open up the space between them, allow things to flow better when you have a ball. Maybe you might want to get a tennis ball and put it in the same basket where you keep your remote control for your TV. So that when you sit down to watch TV, you grab that remote control, you grab the ball too, and then just put that on the floor. And during the commercials, just kind of roll your foot along as you go along. Do you spend any time walking barefoot? That's good to keep those muscles strong and healthy. And then two, our last picture in the top right-hand corner here is that if you are sitting for a period of time, doing some exercises with your calves and your feet, whether you're raising your toes up and then raising your heels up, doing calf raises, are great things to do to keep that circulation going, keeping the muscles strong, and keeping your feet working as best as they can. But along with this, we have another thing that works microscopically to really support those sub pumps, and that is the BEMER. And so truly, when we take a few moments here to think about how complicated, how amazing the design is of the foot, you can see how important it is to take really good care of them. And that's why we do love using the BEMER, because it supports the microcirculation. I have here two of the smaller applicators. On the bottom here, the B pad, this is something that comes with your classic or your premium set. And it's flexible. It can be wrapped or draped over your feet. Okay. And then in addition, I bought this B sit. It's another applicator you could get. And I love it because it's big enough that I can put both feet on top of it. Or if I'm sitting with my legs up, I can put it underneath my calves in order to keep blood flowing through those areas. And many times we might want to use these smaller applicators, and you can put it on program 2, for example. But if you do have a specific problem with your feet and you're like, what can I do for it? A lot of people will run program 3 with these smaller applicators. But also remember that fluid flow, lymph flow, inflammation, nerve stimulation, all of those things don't need the high intensities that you would get on that program 3, but instead programs 1 and 2 works really well with that. Now you might be wondering, why are we talking about feet? Well, last Wednesday, I missed the last 2 steps coming out of my front door. Instead of gracefully walking down the steps, I landed in a heap on the ground. My foot and my ankle did exactly what they're designed to do. They were flexible, but unfortunately, they moved well beyond their normal range. That evening, I couldn't put any weight on my foot at all. My husband had to help me to get to my BEMER. I just said, get me to the BEMER. That's where I need to be. So needless to say, I didn't sleep well that night. So every time I moved and it hurt, I just turned the beamer back on again. The next morning, what we did is we moved all the rugs out of the house, and he brought me my office chair so that I could roll around because I could not Thursday morning put any weight on this foot without pain. Throughout Thursday, though, I continued using the beamer. I alternated between program 3 and a custom program that I created using intensities 1 and 2. I like to think of those lower intensities as a gentle lymphatic massage, right? Just quietly whispering this message to my foot, get better, get better. And something started to change. By Thursday afternoon, less than 24 hours after my accident, I could put weight on my foot without pain. I was walking with a little bit of a limp, but I was walking Thursday evening. Friday morning, I was walking even better with no limp. And by Friday afternoon, less than 48 hours later, I had my range of motion back. Now, I'm not ready for a game of basketball or anything like that. You can see I still have some swelling on my feet. You can't see the tendons in the top of my feet like you can on my good foot, but amazing the difference that happened in just 48 hours. And for that, I'm extremely thankful because it was a busy weekend and I'm happy that I didn't have to miss out on any of the fun. So I really appreciate having the beamer in my home because who knows when any of these things are going to happen to you. So instead of taking your feet for granted, let's take a moment to really appreciate them. They've carried you through every success, every challenge, every celebration, and everything that you do in your ordinary day. They're flexible enough to adapt and yet strong enough to support you. And they're a wonderful reminder that when the smallest parts of your body are cared for, when the foundation of your body is cared for, your whole body benefits. So healthy feet don't just help us to stand, but instead they also are ready to carry us wherever life will lead you next. So I leave you with this question. What do you do to care for your feet?